In the year 2047, something strange happened over Antarctica. A massive alien ship appeared in the sky, hovering silently above the icy continent. It was enormous, shimmering with colors that changed depending on how the sunlight hit it. The people of Earth were both fascinated and terrified. No one knew why the aliens had come or what they wanted. Scientists, military leaders, and governments around the world scrambled to figure out what to do. At McMurdo Station, a research base in Antarctica, two scientists watched the ship with wide eyes. Ryan Carter, a biologist who studied life forms in extreme environments, and Lisa Monroe, an astrobiologist curious about life beyond Earth, couldn't believe what they were seeing. They had spent years studying the harsh conditions of Antarctica, but nothing could have prepared them for this. For days, the alien ship didn't move. It just floated there, silent and still. Then, without warning, small drones began flying out of the ship. These drones looked like metallic insects, buzzing through the air with precision. They moved quickly, collecting samples from the wildlife nearby. Penguins waddling across the ice, seals lounging by the water, even tiny organisms living in the frozen ocean. Ryan and Lisa tried to get closer to observe the drones, but they stayed far enough away not to provoke them. "What are they doing?" Lisa whispered as she adjusted her binoculars. "Why are they taking samples of our animals?" Ryan shook his head. "I don't know, but I don't think they're here to hurt us. If they wanted to attack, they would have done it already." The drones worked tirelessly, scanning everything in sight. Then, one day, something unexpected happened. Both Ryan and Lisa felt a strange sensation in their minds, almost like a voice speaking directly to them. They couldn't understand the words, but the message was clear. They were being summoned. Without hesitation, they followed the feeling. It led them toward the alien ship, which now seemed to hum with energy. As they approached, a section of the ship opened up, revealing a glowing entrance. Ryan hesitated for a moment, but Lisa grabbed his arm. "We can't ignore this," she said. "If we want answers, we need to go inside." Taking a deep breath, they stepped into the alien vessel. Inside, the environment was unlike anything they had ever seen. The walls glowed faintly, and the air felt thick, almost alive. Standing before them were tall, translucent figures. Their bodies shimmered with soft light, making them look more like spirits than solid beings. One of the aliens raised a hand, and a holographic screen appeared in front of Ryan and Lisa. Words began to form on the screen, written in perfect English. Observation phase initiated. Ryan and Lisa exchanged nervous glances. "What does that mean?" Ryan asked aloud, though he didn't expect an answer. The aliens didn't respond verbally. Instead, another message appeared on the screen. "We are the Valeth. We study life forms to preserve balance." Lisa frowned. Preserve balance? What does that mean for Earth? Before they could ask more questions, images started flashing on the screen. Pictures of Earth's animals appeared: lions, sharks, jellyfish, ants, all accompanied by symbols and classifications. Ryan noticed something odd. Each animal was labeled not just as a species, but also as some kind of tool or weapon. "This doesn't make sense," Lisa muttered. "Why are they categorizing animals like this?" Ryan pointed at one of the labels. "Look at this. They're calling the box jellyfish a biological weapon. That's ridiculous." But as they continued watching, they realized the Valeth weren't joking. To these aliens, every creature on Earth had a purpose, and many of those purposes involved survival tactics that could easily be interpreted as deadly. What humans saw as nature's way of maintaining order, the Valeth saw as evidence of living weapons. As the presentation ended, Ryan and Lisa were escorted back outside. The cold wind hit their faces, snapping them out of their daze. They looked at each other, realizing they had just witnessed something monumental. Whatever the Valeth were planning, it was going to change everything, for Earth and its inhabitants. And deep down, they both knew this was only the beginning. After their encounter with the Valeth, Ryan and Lisa returned to McMurdo Station, their minds racing with questions. What did the aliens mean by calling Earth's animals living weapons? Why were they studying wildlife in such detail? And most importantly, what would happen next? The two scientists spent hours discussing what they had seen inside the alien ship, trying to make sense of it all. News of the alien presence spread quickly around the world. Within days, governments and media outlets were buzzing with theories and speculation. Some people thought the Valith were here to invade Earth. Others believed they were scientists, like Ryan and Lisa, simply trying to learn more about the universe. But no one could explain why they seemed so focused on Earth's animals. Back at the research station, Ryan and Lisa tried to go about their usual work, but it was impossible to ignore the drones flying overhead. The small metallic machines continued their relentless scans, collecting data from every living thing they encountered. One day, while Ryan was examining a group of penguins, a drone hovered close to him. Its glowing sensors blinked as it analyzed not just the birds but also Ryan himself. He felt uneasy, like he was being studied too. Lisa noticed the same thing happening when she was out collecting water samples. A drone followed her, scanning her equipment and even the tiny organisms she had gathered. It was clear the Valith weren't just interested in animals, they wanted to understand humans as well. A few weeks later, Ryan and Lisa received another summons. This time, they didn't hesitate. They packed their gear and headed back to the alien ship, determined to get answers. When they arrived, the same glowing entrance appeared, inviting them inside. Once again, they were greeted by the translucent Valith, who communicated through holographic messages. "We are here to study adaptability," the screen read. "Your planet is unique. Every species survives despite challenges." Ryan frowned. "But why call them weapons? That's not how we see them." The Valith paused, as if considering his words. Then another message appeared. "Survival requires strength. Strength is often weaponized." Lisa stepped forward. "You're looking at nature through your own lens. To us, these creatures are part of an ecosystem. They don't exist to fight or harm. They exist to live." The Valith didn't respond directly. Instead, they showed Ryan and Lisa more images, close-ups of animals they had classified. There was a lion, labeled as a high-tier predator weapon. Next to it was a platypus, marked as a biotool with venomous capabilities. Even plants were included, like a Venus flytrap, described as a mechanical trap organism. Ryan shook his head. "This isn't right. You're misunderstanding things. Just because something can defend itself doesn't mean it's a weapon." The Valith tilted their heads slightly, a gesture that might have been curiosity or confusion. Another message appeared. "Explain harmony." Lisa took a deep breath. "Harmony means balance. Animals and plants work together. Bees pollinate flowers, which helps plants grow. Predators keep prey populations in check. It's not about fighting. It's about coexisting." For a moment, the Valith were silent. Then, unexpectedly, they displayed a new image. A human holding hands with a dog. The label read, "Symbiosis detected." Ryan and Lisa exchanged hopeful glances. Maybe the aliens were starting to understand. But before they could say anything else, the Valith ended the meeting. As they escorted Ryan and Lisa back outside, one final message flashed on the screen. "Observation continues." Walking back to the research station, Ryan and Lisa felt a mix of emotions. They had made progress, but the Valith still saw Earth through the lens of survival and strength. Until that changed, humanity, and its wildlife, would remain under scrutiny. As they approached the icy landscape of Antarctica, Ryan glanced up at the alien ship. "Do you think they'll ever see us the way we see ourselves?" he asked quietly. Lisa sighed. "I don't know, but we have to keep trying." And so, the observation phase continued, with Ryan and Lisa caught in the middle of an interstellar mystery that could shape the future of both worlds. As the days turned into weeks, the Valith's drones became a constant presence across the globe. They weren't just in Antarctica anymore. Reports poured in from every continent, describing the metallic insects scanning wildlife and even humans. In Florida, marine biologist Daniel Harper watched as a drone hovered over a great white shark he had been tracking. The shark circled lazily in the water, unaware of the glowing machine above it. The drone scanned the predator inch by inch, its sensors flickering with activity. Daniel shook his head in frustration. "This is ridiculous," he muttered to himself. He had spent years studying sharks, learning about their behavior and importance to the ocean ecosystem. To him, they were majestic creatures, not weapons. But the Veilith didn't seem interested in beauty or balance. They only cared about strength and survival. Meanwhile, in Arizona, entomologist Emily Blake faced her own challenges. She had set up camp near a massive ant colony, hoping to observe their complex social structure. But when a Veilith drone arrived, everything changed. The machine buzzed around the colony, analyzing the ants as they carried food, defended their nest, and worked together like tiny soldiers. Later, reports confirmed that the Veilith had classified ants as collective class bioweapons. Emily couldn't believe it. "They're not weapons," she said aloud, though no one was there to hear her. "They're builders. They create homes, farms, and networks. Why can't you see that?" The classifications kept coming. Lions were labeled apex-grade living ordnance. Jellyfish were called venom-based aquatic disruptors. Even honeybees, gentle pollinators essential to Earth's ecosystems, were dubbed stinger-equipped swarm units. Each label reduced Earth's creatures to tools of destruction, ignoring the delicate harmony they contributed to. Back at McMurdo Station, Ryan and Lisa tried to piece together the bigger picture. They knew the Veilith weren't acting out of malice. They genuinely seemed to view Earth through the lens of survival. But that perspective was dangerous. If the aliens saw humanity's animals as weapons, what would stop them from seeing humans the same way? One evening, Ryan received an email from a colleague in Africa. Attached was a video showing a Veilith drone circling a pride of lions. The big cats growled and swiped at the machine, but it stayed just out of reach. The footage ended with a close-up of the drone's glowing sensors, followed by a message: "Apex predators identified." Ryan showed the video to Lisa. "They're cataloging everything," he said grimly. "Every animal, every insect, every fish. What happens when they finish?" Lisa frowned. "I don't know, but I don't think we'll like it." Their fears deepened when news broke about drones appearing over cities. In New York, Chicago, and Tokyo, people reported seeing the metallic machines hovering above crowded streets. At first, the drones focused on pigeons and rats, but soon they began scanning humans too. Pedestrians froze in fear as the buzzing machines passed overhead, their sensors blinking rapidly. Public outrage grew. Protesters took to the streets, demanding answers from world leaders. "We're not weapons," read one sign held by a demonstrator in London. "Leave our animals alone," shouted another in Sydney. People were scared, not just for themselves, but for the creatures they shared the planet with. Amid the chaos, Ryan and Lisa realized they had to act. They couldn't sit back and let the Veilith misinterpret Earth's life forms. Gathering data from scientists around the world, they prepared a presentation to share with the aliens. It included examples of cooperation in nature: bees pollinating flowers, wolves maintaining balanced ecosystems, even viruses playing roles in genetic evolution. "We need to show them that Earth isn't just about strength," Ryan told Lisa. "It's about connection." Lisa nodded. And maybe, just maybe, they'll listen. With their plan in place, Ryan and Lisa waited anxiously for their next meeting with the Veilith. They didn't know if it would work, but they had to try. The fate of Earth's wildlife, and perhaps humanity itself, depended on it. As protests erupted worldwide, resistance against the Veilith grew stronger. In Montana, a rancher named Jack Dawson became one of the loudest voices speaking out. His cattle had been targeted repeatedly by the drones, causing stress and panic among the herd. Every time a drone buzzed overhead, the cows scattered, trampling fences and destroying crops. Jack was furious. "They're treating us like lab rats," he said to his neighbor Sarah, as they stood watching another drone hover over his property. "These animals aren't weapons. They're living beings. My cows feed families, not armies." Jack decided to take action. He organized local farmers and ranchers into a group called the Wildlife Defense Coalition. Together, they blocked roads leading to areas where the drones were most active, holding up signs that read, "Respect life, and Earth is not your lab." News outlets covered their protests, spreading their message far beyond rural Montana. At the same time, Dr. Samantha Green, an ecologist based in Oregon, worked on a different kind of resistance. She believed violence or aggression would only confirm the Veileth's view of humanity as dangerous. Instead, she focused on education and diplomacy. Through online conferences and interviews, she explained the importance of seeing Earth's creatures as part of a connected system rather than isolated tools. "Animals aren't weapons," Samantha told a reporter during a live broadcast. "They're part of something bigger, a web of life that supports all of us. If we don't help the Veileth understand this, we risk losing everything." Her words resonated with people around the world. Volunteers joined her cause, creating videos and articles highlighting examples of harmony in nature. Bees pollinating flowers, wolves controlling deer populations, even fungi breaking down dead trees, all were shared as proof of Earth's balance. Despite these efforts, tensions continued to rise. Footage surfaced showing Veileth drones circling crowded cities, scanning humans alongside pigeons and rats. People grew increasingly uneasy. Were the aliens planning to classify humans next? And if so, what label would they give them? Ryan and Lisa watched the situation unfold with growing concern. They knew they had to act quickly. With help from Daniel Harper and Emily Blake, they compiled a comprehensive presentation for the Veileth. It included data, images, and videos showcasing cooperation in nature. Ryan hoped it would convince the aliens to rethink their classifications. When the summons came again, Ryan and Lisa didn't hesitate. This time, they brought reinforcements, Daniel and Emily, who represented scientists affected by the Veileth's actions. As they approached the alien ship, its glowing entrance opened once more, inviting them inside. The Veileth greeted them silently, their translucent bodies shimmering faintly. A holographic screen appeared, displaying the message, "Present your findings." Taking a deep breath, Ryan stepped forward. "We want to show you how life on Earth works together," he began. "It's not just about survival, it's about connection." One by one, the team presented their evidence. Emily showed footage of ants building tunnels and caring for their young, emphasizing their role in ecosystems. Daniel shared clips of sharks maintaining ocean health by keeping fish populations balanced. Lisa highlighted bees pollinating plants, while Ryan talked about wolves preventing overgrazing in forests. The Veileth listened intently, their light patterns shifting subtly as they processed the information. When the presentation ended, there was a long silence. Finally, a new message appeared. "Humans observe differently. Explain purpose." Samantha spoke up, her voice calm but firm. "Our purpose is to protect and preserve. We study nature to learn, not to exploit. That's why we're asking you to see Earth's creatures as partners, not weapons." For a moment, the Veileth seemed uncertain. Then, unexpectedly, they displayed an image of Earth from space, surrounded by symbols representing harmony and balance. It wasn't a promise, but it was a sign they were listening. As Ryan and the others left the ship, they felt a glimmer of hope. The fight wasn't over, but maybe, just maybe, understanding could still prevail. Weeks passed after Ryan, Lisa, Daniel, and Emily's meeting with the Veileth. The world waited anxiously for any sign of change, but the drones continued their work without pause. Animals were still being scanned, classified, and labeled as living weapons. Protesters grew more frustrated, and governments debated whether to take action against the aliens. It seemed like nothing had changed. Then, one day, the Veileth made an announcement. A global broadcast interrupted television, radio, and internet signals everywhere. On every screen, a holographic image of Earth appeared, surrounded by glowing symbols. Text scrolled across the bottom in multiple languages. Final classification report. People gathered around their devices, hearts pounding. Ryan and Lisa watched from McMurdo Station, while Jack Dawson tuned in from his ranch. Even Samantha Green sat at her desk, gripping her phone tightly. Whatever the Vailith were about to say, it would affect everyone. The report began with images of animals: lions, sharks, ants, bees, all accompanied by their previous labels. Lions were still marked as Apex-grade living ordnance, and sharks carried the title High-tier aquatic predators. But then came something new. Humans appeared on the screen, standing alongside other species. Below them was a single label: Adaptive Meta-Weaponry. The room fell silent as the words sank in. Ryan clenched his fists. "They're calling us weapons too," he said through gritted teeth, "just like the animals." Lisa shook her head, trying to stay calm. "It's worse than that. They're saying we're the most dangerous kind, the adaptable kind." Around the world, reactions varied. Some people felt insulted, seeing the label as proof the Vailith viewed humanity as a threat. Others saw it differently. To them, being called meta-weaponry wasn't just about danger, it was about potential. If humans were adaptable, maybe they could use that to negotiate or even collaborate with the aliens. But buried within the report was another detail that caught everyone's attention. The Vailith hadn't just been studying Earth's wildlife. They had been testing its compatibility. Footage showed experiments where alien technology interacted with Earth's creatures. A drone released a swarm of bees into a glowing machine, which analyzed their flight patterns. Another clip showed a shark swimming through a tank filled with strange, pulsating lights. The message was clear. The Vailith weren't just observing. They were preparing to integrate. Ryan and Lisa realized the implications immediately. "They're not here to study us for knowledge," Ryan said grimly. "They're here to use us." Lisa nodded, her face pale. "If they think our animals, and us, are weapons, what's stopping them from taking what they want?" Samantha Green reached out to Ryan and Lisa after seeing the report. "We need to act fast," she said over a video call. "If the Vailith are planning to harvest Earth's life forms, we have to show them why that's a mistake." Together, they devised a bold plan. Using the data they had collected, they created a new presentation, one focused on collaboration rather than resistance. Instead of arguing that Earth's creatures weren't weapons, they proposed working with the Vailith to solve problems together. Bees could help pollinate alien crops. Sharks could teach lessons about ocean health. Even humans, with their creativity and adaptability, could contribute unique solutions. When the summons came again, Ryan, Lisa, Samantha, Daniel, and Emily boarded the alien ship once more. This time, they brought videos of humans working alongside animals. Farmers tending sheep, scientists tagging whales, children planting trees. They showed the Vailith that harmony wasn't just possible, it was essential. The Vailith listened carefully, their light patterns shifting as they absorbed the information. When the presentation ended, there was a long silence. Then, a final message appeared: compatibility reassessed, collaboration considered. It wasn't a victory, but it was enough to give humanity hope. As the group left the ship, they knew the fight wasn't over, but for the first time, they felt like allies instead of enemies. The Vailith's response, collaboration considered, was far from a guarantee, but it was enough to shift the tone of their presence on Earth. For weeks after the meeting, the drones continued their scans, but something had changed. They no longer felt as invasive or threatening. Instead of focusing solely on animals, they began observing humans more closely. Farmers tending fields, doctors treating patients, teachers guiding students. It seemed the aliens were trying to understand not just what Earth's creatures could do, but how they lived together. Ryan and Lisa worked tirelessly alongside Samantha, Daniel, and Emily to keep the momentum going. They organized global conferences, inviting scientists, activists, and even ordinary citizens to share stories about cooperation in nature. Videos poured in from all over the world, fishermen releasing endangered turtles back into the ocean, children planting trees in deforested areas, biologists reintroducing wolves to restore ecosystems. Each story reinforced the idea that Earth thrived on balance, not conflict. Jack Dawson, the Montana rancher who had once led protests against the Veilith, also joined the effort. He filmed himself working with his cattle, explaining how he cared for them and depended on them in return. "These animals aren't weapons," he said plainly. "They're family." His video went viral, reaching millions of people and possibly the Veilith themselves. Meanwhile, governments around the world debated next steps. General Matthew Cole, a military leader tasked with preparing for potential alien threats, argued against aggression. "If we attack, we'll prove their worst assumptions about us," he told a council of world leaders. "Right now, they see us as adaptable. Let's show them we're also capable of peace." His words carried weight, and slowly, fears of an alien invasion began to fade. People started seeing the Veilith less as invaders and more as visitors, curious, perhaps misguided, but not inherently hostile. Protest signs shifted from demands like, "Leave us alone," to messages such as, "Work with us." Even Jack's Wildlife Defense Coalition softened its stance, urging calm while continuing to advocate for Earth's creatures. Then came another unexpected development. The Veilith began sharing glimpses of their own homeworld through holographic broadcasts. Images revealed barren landscapes, polluted oceans, and skies choked with ash. Their planet was dying, not from natural causes, but from centuries of unchecked exploitation. The message was clear. The Veilith weren't studying Earth out of curiosity alone. They were desperate for solutions. Samantha Green saw this as an opportunity. "They need us," she told Ryan and Lisa during a late-night strategy session. "Not just our animals, but our knowledge. If we can help them heal their world, maybe they'll leave ours alone." With renewed determination, the group prepared one final presentation. This time, they focused on practical examples of restoration and sustainability. They showed videos of reforestation projects, renewable energy farms, and coral reef rehabilitation efforts. They emphasized humanity's ability to adapt, innovate, and repair damage, even when it seemed impossible. When the summons came again, they entered the alien ship with cautious optimism. The Veilith greeted them silently, their glowing forms pulsing faintly in the dim light. A holographic screen appeared, displaying images of Earth alongside scenes from their dying planet. Then came the question, how do you restore balance? Ryan stepped forward first. "By working together," he said simply. "We fix problems by helping each other. That's how we survive." One by one, the others added their voices. Lisa spoke about ecosystems thriving because every creature played a role. Daniel highlighted sharks maintaining healthy oceans. Emily explained ant colonies building networks that supported entire habitats. And Samantha shared stories of humans reversing environmental damage through teamwork. For a long moment, the Veilith were silent. Then their bodies shimmered brightly, and a new message appeared. Proposal accepted. Joint efforts initiated. It wasn't a victory speech, but it was close enough. As the group left the ship, they felt a sense of cautious hope. The road ahead would be challenging, but for the first time, it felt like a shared journey, one where two very different species might find a way to coexist. Months passed after the Veilith accepted humanity's proposal for collaboration. Slowly but surely, their presence on Earth began to change. The drones that once buzzed over cities and wildlife now worked alongside scientists, sharing data and technology. Together, humans and aliens started projects aimed at healing both Earth and the Veilith's dying homeworld. It was a fragile partnership, built on trust and mutual need, but it gave people hope. Ryan and Lisa found themselves at the center of this new era. They traveled the globe, coordinating efforts between human researchers and Veilith observers. In Australia, they helped design systems to restore coral reefs using alien methods of water purification. In Africa, they introduced Veilith technology to track endangered species like elephants and rhinos, ensuring their protection. Each success brought them closer to understanding, not just of the aliens, but of their own planet as well. Jack Dawson, who had once feared the Veilith, became an unlikely advocate for cooperation. His ranch in Montana became a testing ground for sustainable farming techniques developed with alien help. Cattle grazed on nutrient-rich grass grown using Veilith soil treatments, and drones monitored the health of his land. "I never thought I'd say this," Jack admitted during an interview, "but working with them has made me see things differently. We're all just trying to survive." Samantha Green continued leading global initiatives, focusing on education and shared knowledge. She organized workshops where human farmers learned about crop rotation from Veilith agricultural experts, while biologists taught the aliens about Earth's delicate ecosystems. Even Emily Blake and Daniel Harper joined forces, combining their expertise to study how alien machines could mimic natural processes like pollination or predator-prey dynamics. But not everyone was happy. Some people still distrusted the Veilith, fearing their intentions might shift if Earth's resources proved too valuable. Protests continued in small pockets, though they were fewer and quieter than before. Governments kept a close watch, ready to intervene if necessary. Despite these lingering doubts, most of humanity embraced the partnership, seeing it as a chance to create a better future for both worlds. One day, Ryan and Lisa received another summons to the alien ship. When they arrived, they were greeted by the Veilith in a chamber filled with glowing displays. Images of Earth and the Veilith's homeworld floated side by side, showing progress in restoring balance to both planets. A message appeared: harmony achieved, gratitude expressed. Lisa smiled softly. "Does this mean you'll leave soon?" The Veilith paused, then responded: "Departure planned. Legacy remains." It wasn't goodbye. It was a promise. The Veilith would continue monitoring Earth remotely, leaving behind tools and knowledge to ensure the planet's recovery. Their work here was done, but their impact would last for generations. As the massive ship ascended into the sky one final time, people around the world watched in awe. For months, the Veilith had been a source of fear and uncertainty. Now they were remembered as partners who had helped humanity see its own world, and itself, in a new light. Back in Antarctica, Ryan stood beside Lisa, gazing up at the stars. The icy wind swept across the landscape, carrying a sense of calm. "Do you think we'll ever see them again?" Lisa asked quietly. Ryan shrugged. "Maybe. But even if we don't, what they taught us will stay with us forever." He was right. Humanity had learned more than just science from the Veilith. They had learned humility, adaptability, and the value of coexistence. As life on Earth began to flourish under renewed care, it was clear that the encounter had changed everything, for the better. And somewhere among the stars, the Veilith moved on to their next mission, carrying with them the lessons of a small blue planet that refused to give up.